Hi there everybody, it's Claire Mockridge here. I hope you're well. I'm going to show you 3 exercises you can do during pregnancy on a Swiss ball. If you don't have a Swiss ball, you can easily do these exercises on a chair as well, so that's fine. I just know that some of you actually have one of these big blue birthing balls or Swiss balls hiding away in your house, and all you do is sit on it. So I thought I'd give you a couple of exercises to do rather than just the standard sort of seated position. When you're sitting on your Swiss ball, make sure that your feet are nice and flat, and your knees are in line with your hip joints, or a little bit wider if you just feel a bit safer in that position. Again, goes exactly the same thing there when you're sitting on a chair. If you're sitting on a chair, make sure that your sit bone, so your bottom, is actually quite forwards on the chair as well. So your back is nowhere near the backrest. So come forward, sit up nice and tall, and feel the abdominal muscles, I suppose, really engaging without even having to do anything there. First exercise I'm going to show you is actually a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to turn onto the side so you can kind of see what's happening. You've got 5 lumbar vertebrae here, and it's actually the lower back that I'm going to be tucking under. So you can have your hands on your thighs, drop the shoulder blades back and down, lift up through the neck, draw the pelvic floor muscles in, or the core, keep the shoulders back, and then just tuck under. So the ball is moving a little bit underneath me, so breathing out as I tuck under, and breathe back in as I sit nice and tall. So out breath here, so sinking under, and in breath as you return. So use the pelvic floor muscles. To make it a little bit more challenging, you bring the arms in front of you, so tucking under, keep those shoulders down, lift up nice and tall. So I want you, if you can, squeeze the shoulder blades together to actually keep the shoulder blades in position. So try not to lift them. Remember, it's just the lumbar spine we're focusing on. This becomes very tight in the later stages of pregnancy as your pelvis changes position. Out breath as you tuck under, and in breath sit nice and tall. So what I'm trying to do is just get a little bit of nourishment into those lower back discs, and mobilise as well, so get a bit of movement through there, and obviously working the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor likes this tilting sort of action, so you should feel a nice deep connection in the front sort of or middle passage to the pelvic floor. That's your last one there. Okay, so have a little rest in that position there. Next up, I'm going to be challenging the core muscles. So again, you don't need to move your feet, perhaps just give them a little jangle there just to get the blood circulating through. And if you like to place your hands sort of across the chest here, make sure your shoulder blades are down, neck is lifted, sitting up nice and tall. Or you could just have the hands in front of you, that just feels a bit more comfortable. So we're sitting nice and tall, draw the abdominal muscles in. Now keep the lower back in neutral, so don't arch and don't tuck under, keep it in neutral, so in between. And all you're doing here is just gently leaning backwards and then returning. So I'm actually hitting the low fibers of the core. Breathe out, sit tall, don't arch the lower back. Now if you feel that the top of your stomach is starting to push through, don't go back quite so far, just a little millimetre or two leaning backwards. So you see the pivot point to the exercise is the hip flexors or the hip joint here. So all I'm doing is starting and then swaying backwards and then returning. So there's no arching of the back at all. Sit tall, relax the hip flexors a little bit here through the movement. So I want you to kind of feel as though the hip flexors are lengthening as you lean backwards. Let's imagine also that the feet are on a frozen lake as well. So just wiggle your toes a little bit there. Try not to use the feet. So that I'm asking you to switch off these muscles. Draw the abdominals in. Breathe out here. If you'd like to make it a bit more challenging, bring the arms in front of you. So out breath as you sit backwards. So you notice that the ball is not really moving as I lean back. It's not like the pelvic tilt. I'm sitting tall on those sit bones, so the anchor is my pelvic bones underneath. One more to go here, sit tall, that's it, and have a little stretch there, tuck your bottom under, drop the head down, so it's a nice little stretch there. I'm going to face you on the next one, so I'll just turn myself around here. So again, just getting yourself back in position. This one again is all focusing on the core. So perhaps if you find your hip joints, trust me, they are there somewhere. So just walk your fingertips in, or just have your hands sort of under bump or under baby at the front here. That feels quite nice. So drop the shoulder blades back and down, lift up through the neck, get a deep connection through here. So you're pulling the stomach muscles in slightly, and I'd like you just to lift the heel of that right foot, place the heel back down, and then change. So lift the left heel, place the heel back down. Good. So out breath here. So again, try not to arch. There's no movement of the pelvis. at all. There's no movement of the shoulders either. So hands down here to actually give you a little bit of sensory feedback. So your pelvis, what I'm saying is, shouldn't be moving. So when you're sitting on your chair or on your Swiss ball, you shouldn't be moving really. Now if you think you might be able to, you could lift the foot off the floor. Again, challenging the core. There will be a little bit of a lean now as you return through centre, and you might also perhaps have to place the hands on the ball to give you a little bit more challenge, or sorry, a little bit more stability really. And either level, if you prefer the heel lift, then why don't you do opposite hand to foot. So lift the heel or foot and lift the opposite hand. Obviously as you get better at doing the exercise you won't need to hold on to the ball, but just in the initial stages, if you need to have your hand on the floor, sorry, on the floor, that's a bit challenging for pregnancy, on the ball there, just for a little bit of stability. Use that core, use the pelvic floor as well, sit tall, and last one here, oops, a bit wobbly myself. Okay, and again, just give your legs a little shake, bring your arms in front, lift the shoulders, try not to lock the elbows out, just push the hands forwards, drop that head down. And that's your last exercise there. So 3 simple exercises you can do on those Swiss balls that are lying around your house rather than just seated on them. Have a go at those and let me know how you get on. See you soon.